KREM 2 News 10 at 10 begins now with Mark Henmerhan and Jeremy Legoo.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. We are learning new details about a crane collapse at the Post Falls Dam this morning. Tens of thousands of residents across Spokane and Kootenai counties got an alert on their phones from the National Weather Service warning the dam might fail, and they were under a flash flood watch. Now authorities are confirming the dam is stable and there is no danger to the community.
Operations and Dam Safety performed our joint inspection approximately 1 hour afterwards. So it was around 10:15 or 10:20 when we were able to make that determination and stand that down.
It is still unknown what exactly caused the crane to collapse. The crane operator was taken to the hospital with what were described as non-life-threatening injuries, but they are asking people not to fly drones over the Post Falls Dam now. Avista says if drones continue to fly over the area, they will have to get law enforcement involved. And as we mentioned, that collapse triggered the National Weather Service to issue the flash flood watch, leaving many alarmed and confused. KREM 2's Cody Proctor brings us more to the story tonight. She is live in the studio to break down why that flood watch went out in the first place. Cody?
Well, that flash flood watch went out because the National Weather Service says they were following the emergency procedures already in place for the Post Falls Dam. It was canceled in less than an hour.
And it's a rare event that when we do this.
This being the flash flood watch sent out by the National Weather Service after a crane collapsed at the Post Falls Dam Tuesday morning. NWS hydrologist Robin Fox says it started with a phone call from the dam's operator saying they were activating their emergency action plan for potential failure.
The National Weather Service is one of those stakeholders that gets notified because we issue the alerts for watches and warnings of any type of failure.
Fox says that prompted the Weather Service to issue the flash flood watch as part of their procedure. That went out right before 10 a.m. It was canceled less than an hour later after getting word the dam was safe and the emergency action plan scaled down. Ryan Bean manages plant operations and maintenance at the Post Falls Dam.
Part of our temporary construction emergency action plan includes a list of notifications. Those include our internal and external agencies.
One thing to note, NWS issued a watch, not a warning, which is on the lower end of their emergency spectrum. According to the Weather Service, a watch means conditions are favorable for an event to happen, such as a flash flood, but doesn't mean it will. It's issued to allow people who can be impacted to get ready. A warning means the event's imminent or already happening, and people need to take action.
Given this time of the year, there's not much water in the rivers right now, but still any sudden release of water could be hazardous because we're not used to that at this time, any change in the flow right now.
Now, while both Avista and the National Weather Service says they followed their emergency protocol, some emergency responders, including the fire chief for Kootenai County Fire and Rescue, say while they understand why the flash flood watch was put out, they questioned if it was needed and wished they'd been coordinated with. In studio, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
All right, Cody, thank you very much. New tonight, some Whitman County ballots are missing after being processed by the U.S. Postal Service right here in Spokane. According to the Whitman County auditor, all of the county's ballots were processed out of the post office main Spokane plant earlier this month. However, some of those ballots never made it to registered voters. USPS is working to track down those ballots tonight. If you have not yet received a ballot, Whitman County is asking you to call that number at the bottom of your screen, and they say they will get you a new one. Staying in Whitman County tonight, a health advisory for toxic algae on the Snake River has been lifted. It was in effect from the stretch of river between Nisqually John Landing and Little Goose Dam. Whitman County Public Health says residents and visitors are advised to avoid areas on the river with active blooms. They are encouraged to report them to the Department of Ecology. And new tonight, Idaho's longest serving death row inmate who survived a lethal injection attempt earlier this year has a new execution date. The Idaho Commission of Pardons and Parole is denying serial killer Thomas Creech's latest request for a clemency hearing. The commission voted 5-1 earlier today. Creech filed a commutation petition last week to challenge allegations that he killed a man in California in 1974. Creech's legal team says he had little to no time to address the allegation that came out in court shortly before his last execution attempt. The state is set to execute Creech by lethal injection coming up on November 13th. The new execution date comes months after he survived a lethal injection attempt when prison medical team members repeatedly failed to find a vein to carry out that lethal injection. All right, let's switch gears. Take a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy DeGoo. Jeremy, we know the wet weather is coming, but tomorrow's still looking good, right? It's looking dry?
Oh yeah, tomorrow's looking great. If you want to go out for a walk tomorrow afternoon, looks to be about perfect. We have rain moving in, and that arrives just in time for Halloween. 37 degrees is where we sit right now. It is likely going to be another cold start to the day tomorrow. We're talking temperatures down near freezing. Then by the time we get to Halloween, well, rain. Rain makes its way back into the forecast, but by the afternoon and even into the evening, I think we are much drier across the region, which also means temperatures take a dive. From 47 degrees down into the low 40s by the time you're trick-or-treating, you're going to want to bundle up. We have a little bit of cloud cover, but emphasis on little bit. Tomorrow we wind up mostly sunny. We'll see rain move into central Washington tomorrow night. Thursday morning, we wake up to it in eastern Washington and North Idaho. By the middle of the day, it moves out, and it's a mix of clouds and clear skies taking us through the remainder of it. 51 tomorrow, 47 on Halloween with a little rain to start the day, and then showers on Friday.
All right, sounds good. Jeremy will check back in with you later in the show. Spokane police are asking for help finding a missing 16-year-old tonight. Naomi Berry's family reported her missing. She was last seen at school, but she never returned home. Naomi is known to frequent the Shadle Park Walmart, the general downtown area, and Crosswalk Youth Shelter. She is described as 5 feet 2 inches tall with a thin build, black hair, and green eyes. If you have seen her, you're asked to call Crime Check, that number right there on your screen. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. Former Washington lawmaker and controversial pastor Matt Shea is now suing the city of Spokane, demanding $24 million in damages. The claim stems from the former mayor of Spokane, Nadine Woodward, appearing on stage with Shea last August at a Christian nationalist prayer rally at the Podium in Spokane. It was at that event that Matt Shea brought then Mayor Woodward on stage to pray for her re-election. Days later, Spokane City Council voted to condemn Woodward for appearing at that rally with Shea. In official language, council voted to denounce her appearance rather than censuring her. At the time, council member Zach Sapone explained the change in language.
And there was a little bit of concern that censure sounded like censor, and that it was censoring freedom of religion, and that is really nothing about what this resolution did.
In 2019, Shea was expelled from the state's Republican caucus after an investigation found he engaged in domestic terrorism. Tonight, he is demanding the city of Spokane pay him for harm and damage to his constitutional rights. Former Mayor Nadine Woodward is also seeking $1.4 million in damages, saying that city council members violated her free speech and interfered with the election. Tonight, WSU police increasing patrols following a reported sexual assault on campus. It happened in a parking lot just south of Beasley Coliseum after a student was reportedly attacked on her way to her car last Monday. With the student body on edge, Chief Jenkins with WSU Police says there are multiple resources to help students feel more safe.
Well, we do have a walking service through our police cadet program here at the police department, and so that's provided from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. No community is immune from violence, so we're working to do everything we can to make this as safe campus as possible.
Police say the victim did not see the suspect, so no description is available. If you have any information, you are urged to contact police immediately.
I think it would be great if we were able to say that our county has most of its eligible families actually receiving the credit.
The city of Spokane is launching a new campaign in hopes of putting more money in people's pockets. The Department of Revenue announcing that eligible families across Spokane County are missing out on the Working Families Tax Credit. The Working Families Tax Credit provides payments from $800 to $1,255 annually for low-income earners. Right now, the Department of Revenue estimates that out of the 30,000 eligible families in Spokane County, more than 17,000 are not utilizing the program. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.